I do not use period apps to track my cycle, and this is why. I think it's great to use it to track your period, any symptoms, to know what day of the cycle you're on, but do not use it to avoid pregnancy or avoid your fertile window, because apps are notorious for being wrong for pinpointing your ovulation day. It's just way too common for accidental pregnancies to occur if people are aware that you can only get pregnant at certain times in the cycle. So they take less precautions during those periods where you can't really get pregnant, but then they think they've already ovulated, but they actually haven't because they were following their app. I find a lot of people will look at their app and be like, this is my fertile window week, this is my like ovulation week, this is the day of my supposed ovulation, and they actually follow it and like they think that's what is happening with their body. It certainly could be, especially if you have a very regular cycle, but it is very, very common to have cycle changes, especially if you have a regular cycle. You could easily have a cycle change, stressed, sick, traveling, whatever. If you have an irregular cycle, definitely never follow your app, because if your cycle is irregular, your ovulation's on day 15, then it's on day 27. So you never really know. Instead, it's best to learn your biomarkers, track your cervical mucus, your basal body temperature, and use that along with your app if you'd like. I like to use different apps for like my tracking now. So I'll use the FEMM app to track my cervical mucus. And then I also use my Oura Ring to track my temperature shifts, so I'll just use that for like my temperature, and that's how I will dictate whether I'm fertile or not for any given day, and then whether or not I've actually ovulated. So that is the main reason why. I hope that helped.